Welcome to my channel. I'm Gary Wuryawan, and today I want to talk about the camera and lenses that I brought on my trip to United States. Let's go! If you are new to my channel, I mainly talk about photography and music in this channel. I'm not a professional, just an enthusiast, a hobbyist. So if you are interested in those kind of things, please consider subscribing to my channel down below. Anyway, recently I just got back from a trip to United States and I visited Seattle, Washington, as well as some cities in the state of California. And it's not a photography trip, it's just a casual vacation kind of trip. You can check out the vlogs that I made about my United States trip up here. Speaking about the United States vlogs, actually I still have one more vlog that I haven't uploaded yet, so stay tuned for that as well. Anyway, as I mentioned earlier, my trip to United States is not about photography. I didn't come there to photograph the beautiful national parks with my professional great camera and lenses. No, I'm not coming there to do that. I just come to United States to have a little bit of vacation time with my wife and my family. However, I still want to take some nice travel pictures, and I want to take the pictures with something that has a significantly better image quality compared to my smartphone. So naturally, I brought my Micro Four Thirds camera. Micro Four Thirds camera system is undoubtedly the perfect choice for travel photography. The cameras are small, the lenses are small, they are very easy to carry around, they are very lightweight. So if you are traveling by plane and you have that 7 kilogram weight limit on your carry-on bag, Micro Four Thirds will be able to help you to reduce some weight inside of your bag compared to if you are bringing other camera systems such as APS-C or full frame. And the image quality is significantly better than smartphone in my opinion. And even if your main purpose of the trip is to do some photography, Micro Four Thirds will still serve you well. The image quality taken by Micro Four Thirds, I think, is more than good enough even for professional applications as well. I recently also visited New Zealand, and you can check out this video right here about what camera that I carry, what lenses that I carry. But in my opinion, for serious photography situation, Micro Four Thirds can do well as well. Anyway, in today's video, I want to make an observation about the camera gear that I brought to United States. And for this trip, I'm keeping it very minimalist. I'm keeping it very simple. Just one camera body and two lenses. This is far less than what I usually bring, even for a non-photography trip. First, let's talk about the camera, and I brought this guy right here to United States. This is the Panasonic Lumix GX85. And this guy is actually the perfect choice for such trip because this camera is so small, so lightweight, it doesn't scream a professional camera, it doesn't look intimidating at all. So I can do street photography in the middle of the crowd and no one will look at me like I'm a weird kind of person, and that's very important for me. Speaking of the image quality, it's also really nice. It features a 16 megapixel Micro Four Thirds sensor, which is only 16 megapixel, but the image quality and the video quality really looks nice. I really enjoyed the pictures and video that I took with this camera. And speaking about pictures and video, this camera also has great in-body stabilizer. So if you're recording video and you're doing that smooth camera movement, you can get smooth video footage without having to use gimbals or stabilization device. I really don't like carrying gimbals when I'm traveling. It's just heavy, it's just cumbersome, and your camera will look big and people will look at you. And with this camera, with its built-in internal stabilization, I think it's just perfect for travel. Also, manual controls of this camera really nice as well. I can easily change aperture, shutter speed, ISO, white balance with dedicated buttons and dials, and that's really important because when you're traveling, I don't want to go into the menu and trying to find which settings and go into which page. That just doesn't work for me. I like to have dedicated buttons and dials. And also this camera has a rechargeable USB feature, so you don't have to carry additional charger. You can just charge this camera using micro USB cable. I know it's micro USB and not USB-C, but I'm still glad that at least I don't have to bring a dedicated charger with this camera. So this camera sounds like almost the perfect travel camera, and I really think it is the case. However, there are two things that are missing from this camera that makes it into my ultimate travel camera. First, a microphone input, and second, fully articulating and flipping screen. I mean, the screen right here kind of articulate a little bit. It can go up and down, but it cannot flip forward and make it into a selfie camera or vlogging camera. Because I like to record a little bit of travel vlogs, and without those features, this camera cannot really record vlogs. However, I combat those two issues by bringing a separate vlogging camera, this guy right here, and I will talk about this guy later. So that is the GX85. Next, let's talk about the lenses. And first, I want to talk about this small little lens right here. This is the kit lens that comes with this camera, and that is the Panasonic Lumix 12 to 32mm f3.5 to f5.6. Again, just like the camera, the GX85, the Panasonic 12 to 32mm lens is just a perfect candidate for travel photography. It is so small, it is so lightweight, so it's very easy to carry around inside your carry-on bag. And also because it doesn't look intimidating at all. Look at it, it's just a small pancake lens that's almost flush to the camera. Nobody will look at you like you're a creep or like a professional photographer. So now, while I'm talking about this lens, I want to show you some sample pictures that I took using this lens. So first, let's talk about the focal length of this lens. It's from 12mm all the way to 32mm. At 12mm, you'll get a normal wide kind of field of view. So it's perfect for sceneries. If you want to capture everything in just a single frame, if you want to capture the beautiful environment around you, you want to do a little bit of environmental portrait of your wife, of your husband, of your children, you can do it with this focal length. And you zoom it a little bit to 18 or 25. That's perfect for product photography, for street photography. If you encounter something interesting in the market or on the road or something like that, you can do it with 18 or 25. And you can zoom it all the way to 32mm for a more serious portrait and for a little bit of a mild telephoto focal length if you want to photograph something in the distance but not too far. So yeah, the focal length is quite flexible in my opinion. It covers all the important focal lengths that you want in general travel photography. Now, speaking about the image quality, I'm kind of surprised because this is just a kit lens, and as you can see on the pictures that I'm showing to you right now, I think the picture quality is really nice. The images are really sharp, it's really contrasty, and also the colors are nice. I'm kind of surprised because this is just a cheap kit lens that comes with this camera, but the image quality is kind of nice. And there are some drawbacks with this lens, but mainly I want to talk about the aperture because that's what bothers me the most. The apertures can only go from f3.5 to f5.6, not really that large, so this lens will definitely struggle in lower light situation as well as for making that bokeh, blurry background kind of stuff. It won't work really well. But besides that, I think this is the perfect lens for travel photography, as you can see. Next lens that I brought during this United States trip is this little mini telephoto guy right here. This is the Panasonic Lumix 35 to 100mm f4 to f5.6. The reason why I brought this lens instead of a super zoom lens like this guy right here, this is the 14 to 140mm Panasonic lens, is because again, this lens is small, it's very lightweight. This is kind of a rare lens. If you are in other camera formats, there's nothing like this really. There's no small little telephoto that you can bring that is this small and this lightweight. So yeah, this is perfect perfect for travel telephoto lens, and together with the 12 to 32mm lens, it makes for a perfect combo. It is smaller and lighter even compared to this super zoom lens that I just showed you. So I hope that you can start to see a theme right here. Everything has to be small, everything has to be lightweight, but the quality cannot be compromised. And as the previous lens, I will also show you some sample pictures right now while I talk about this lens. So I used this lens a couple of times already for travel photography, but I'm still surprised nevertheless of how good and how useful this lens is. I'm not really a telephoto guys, I much prefer wide angle lens all the time. However, with telephoto lens like this, I'm able to use it for distant landscape photography, for landscape shots, or if I want to try to focus on just a certain area of the scenery, if I want to focus on certain object on the scenery, then this is the perfect choice for that. I think this lens gives me a unique perspective that I cannot really get from the 12 to 32, and I think this is such a really fun lens to use, especially for a telephoto lens of this size and weight. I just really enjoy using this lens. Now, speaking about the image quality, of course it's going to be fantastic. This is really sharp, this is really contrasty, the colors are really nice, just like the 12 to 32, and I think this is one of the best mini telephoto that I ever have. And by the way, I made a comparison of the sharpness of some telephoto lenses for micro four thirds. You can check that video up here, and this guy actually surprised me because actually the image quality, the sharpness coming out from this lens is not bad at all compared to some professional telephoto lenses for micro four thirds. Anyway, speaking about the drawback of this lens, same story with the 12 to 32, just the aperture. However, with the telephoto lens, I don't think it's a huge deal because I actually don't really need to get that shallow depth of field because I'm not really doing portrait during this travel. I'm just doing mainly landscape sceneries kind of shot. I want to try to get some nice perspective of some scenery. So I don't really need that thin, shallow depth of field bokeh like for portrait. Now that I've talked about my camera and lenses that I brought to United States, I also want to mention some other important things that I brought that are not necessarily micro four thirds camera or lenses, but still related to photography. First item is this guy right here. This is the DJI Pocket 2 video camera. So this is actually a camera with built-in gimbal. So basically you will have smooth video footage all the time using this camera. And this is the camera that records all my vlogs of this United States trip as well as my other everyday photography challenge vlogs. So with the everyday photography challenge, if you don't know that, it's basically where I try to squeeze a little bit of times almost every day to do photography, to try to come up with a nice picture and try to make an effort to do photography, to have a little bit of photography exercise. You can watch those vlogs up here. But this camera is really fantastic for recording the vlogs because besides the smooth video footage from the gimbal, it also has nice video quality. And also it comes with this wireless microphone that you can just clip into your shirt like so. And by doing so, you'll have great audio quality all the time from this wireless microphone. For the DJI Pocket 2, I also brought this guy right here. I don't really know the name of this thing, but this is basically a clamp that you can attach to the strap of your sling bag or camera bag so that you can attach the DJI Pocket 2 into this guy and you can record your video hands-free. And that's really nice for recording the vlogs, the behind the scenes process of how I take pictures. Next, I also brought this little guy right here. This is the Insta360 Go little video action camera. This camera is actually what I use for shooting the video of the street photography session in Seattle as well as in Newport Beach vlog. So the reason why I use this camera instead of the DJI Pocket 2, because obviously this is smaller, it draws less attention, so it's perfect for street photography. When I'm recording the street photography sessions, I was using this necklace attachment for the Insta360 Go. I just put it around my neck like so and put it under my shirt so I can just attach my Insta360 Go to like so with the magnetic attachment, and it'll just record. It doesn't look really bad. It doesn't look too conspicuous. So I'm quite comfortable doing street photography with this little camera and this little necklace attachment. Next, I also brought this sling bag with me. This is the Alpaca Gear Go Sling Mini, and this is just perfect for carrying all of my stuff, all of my camera and lenses, all of the other video cameras. They go inside the Alpaca Go Sling Mini right here. This sling bag is really small, it's really lightweight, and it's also perfect not just for everyday carry and for your camera carry when you are in the destination area, but also during the transit when you are riding the airplane, when you are in the airport. This is a nice personal item size bag that can fit a lot of things inside without being too heavy and too bulky. Now that I've talked about all the camera, lenses, video cameras that I brought, I want to talk about how they perform, what I miss, and what will I do in the future. So my Micro Four Thirds camera, the GX85, as well as my lenses, the 12 to 32mm as well as the 35 to 100mm, they are all get used all the time during my United States trip, and that's really perfect because on my previous trip to New Zealand, one of my lenses didn't get used at all. So it's very inefficient, and it's just something that I can just leave at home and don't have to carry. And my video cameras, the DJI Pocket 2 and the Insta360 Go 2, they are all also get used all the time, and they are all perfect for this trip. I'm really grateful for my gear selection this time. It's quite really nice, and they are all very effective. Now, as you notice, I didn't really bring any ultra wide angle lens during this trip. My widest lens is just the 12 to 32mm lens right here. And frankly speaking, I don't really miss ultra wide angle lens when I'm in the United States because most of the sceneries don't require ultra wide angle focal lengths anyway. So I'm fine without ultra wide angle lens. But we will see on future trips, will I bring ultra wide angle lens or not? Because usually I will prefer ultra wide angle lens over a telephoto lens. In this United States trip, I'm quite happy with the pictures and the video that I got from my Micro Four Thirds camera and lenses. And also I enjoyed the process of taking the pictures, coming up with the composition, setting the camera, all that good stuff of the photography process. And yeah, I really think those are the two of the most important things that really matter the most when it comes to travel photography. And that wraps up today's video. So that is all for today's video. I hope that today's video is inspiring, useful, and informative for you. Please comment down below what are your travel photography gear, and also if you have any question about today's video, please comment down below as well, and I will try my best to answer. Also, don't forget to support my channel by liking this video, sharing this video, and subscribing to my channel down below. Thank you, and see you on the next video. Goodbye.